Hello, and welcome to Pardon the Integration Hybrid Cloud Reality Check, Myths and Moneymakers, where we discuss top trends in the channel today. I'm your host, Katie Bavoso from the Channel Company. The global hybrid cloud market is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of more than 21% through 2026. This highlights new opportunities for channel providers to solve new and evolving customer needs, but it's important to have the right conversations and get the right support for the best business outcomes. Joining me today to discuss how Ingram Micro is well positioned to help partners do this is Cheryl Rang, Executive Director, Advanced Solutions and Data Center at Ingram Micro. The way the podcast works for those of you joining us for the first time is we have 3 topics with 3 minutes to talk about each. So let's go ahead and get started with that first topic. Myth busted. There's no hybrid without hardware. So Cheryl, first of all, thanks so much for being here and welcome to the program. Let me ask you, cloud is front and center in the hybrid work environment conversation at all times, but why should infrastructure also be a focus when having this discussion?
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. I'm excited about this. So, it's a great question to start out with. I don't think that many would disagree that the future is going to be hybrid. Where the discrepancy can come along is, what is that final destination really going to look like? Is it cloud? Is it staying hybrid? Is it going back on-prem? And what we've really been seeing in the market is that there is no denying that cloud is going to be part of our future, but data center spend is still forecasted to grow by over 11%, become a $226 billion industry. So we know, a portion of that's going to be going to the hyperscalers, but a lot of partners are also looking at how do they optimize their environments to find the right balance between cloud and on-prem. While cloud can be expensive when running some enterprise applications, don't get me wrong, I think we still need cloud as part of that environment. There's something like over 30% of enterprise spend is being wasted on cloud infrastructure. The good news is there's still going to be room for growth on both in the market, both on-prem and hybrid, and finding that right balance is going to be the key.
Definitely, Cheryl. So question 2, what are the immediate and long-term opportunities of investing in hardware infrastructure?
Yeah, so immediately, I think the opportunity is really to assess your environments before just assuming a refresh or a move to the cloud. It's really important for our partners to be able to understand what technology will best fit in their clients' environments in order to allow it to scale for future needs. So short term is current infrastructure assessment, multi-vendor view, so making sure that our roadmap is scalable over the next 3 years, and that's going to allow for that cost savings over time. Our partners can be experts in this space by leveraging partners like Ingram Micro to help perform some of those optimization assessments and allow them to be able to recommend both on-prem and cloud environments to keep the voice of their customers across the hybrid platform. And we're seeing such impressive technology come out in the edge space, especially allowing for more of that high power compute closer to the source before it even reaches the cloud. As an example, I recently read on smart farming. So we've read about, some of the uses of sensors and capturing data closer to the source, but now we're seeing things like smart greenhouses be able to automatically optimize humidity levels, temperatures, soil conditions. So once that data is all captured, it has to be stored somewhere. And that's where some of these edge to cloud solutions can really fit. If they're leveraging them, that and using that high performance compute, the infrastructure will allow that farm to be not only more efficient with their time and their resources, but also their spend. So I think that's just going to be the beginning. But some of these next generation trends are insane, and the technology that comes along with it is super exciting.
The farm of the future. I
Exactly.
love that. So with those 2 questions in mind, Cheryl, how should channel providers be positioning hybrid infrastructure to their customers?
First, they really have to understand the business outcome that's driving the conversation. What are the goals of their customers when it comes to solutions that they're offering? It's going to be a very different conversation if they're focused specifically around cost savings versus if it's more focused on something like environmental, social, and governance that could override their cost concerns. So once they can really understand that goal, then they can be assessing their current environment. If they're not sure where to begin, then that's when they should be giving a partner like us a call to help be their support team. And then once they really have that good landscape and it's thinking about that long-term architecture to help scale up and down, it's giving the end user that clear view into the hybrid environment and what it looks like for their specific needs and how they can get started in potentially migrating applications, determining the best workload placement, and building that optimized environment so that they're not caught in that 30% wasted spend that I mentioned earlier.
That brings us right into topic 2, Cheryl. Whose data center is it anyway? Build or buy? So, question 1, with this talk of cloud, what new and continued opportunities currently lie in the data center?
I want to reassure everyone that the data center is not dead. It is, like all of us, going through this transformation. So opportunities are going to look a little different. It could be modernizing, I mentioned optimizing before, securing an environment, and really customizing it to the needs of their end users. So I think of things like, is the equipment that you have up to date? Could there be refresh opportunities or buybacks to become more efficient in their usage? Are you being efficient with power and cooling? Those are just a few examples of areas that I think you can still look at in the industry and in the data center.
So there are many options when it comes to obtaining and utilizing the data center. You can build one from scratch, you can lease or co-locate, and on and on. How do partners know what data center option is best for them?
I think the key is really going to be going back to that initial view. I think gone are the days are where it was, one or the other, just building it or just a cloud instance or just using a colo. It's becoming this combination. Everything is becoming more multi-vendor, multi-location environments. So it's really not going to be that one to the other, but it's understanding how you can use all of them to create a more scalable, cost-effective environment in the long run. There's definitely some pros and cons in each. Cloud storage is endlessly scalable in terms of size, but it could be more expensive than an on-prem storage. On-prem, is a finite location amount of data, but it could allow for more increased productivity depending on the location. So the key is really going to be finding out what that right mix is for your end users, and then giving them the option in that multi-view. Sure, it could have a little bit more complexity to it, but it's going to be scalable, safer, and reliable architectures really built to sustain in the future.
So once they decide on a data center scenario, how does Ingram Micro come in and help partners choose the right resources?
When in doubt, ask. We hear all the time, oh, I didn't know Ingram can do that. And it is true. We have a ton of capabilities from our hybrid cloud services. We had an acquisition last year of Cloud Logic, and they're doing these pre-sales assessments, really looking at a hybrid cloud environment all the way through. It could be pre-sales data center. We have a tech force team that's a group of highly skilled and certified resources that are focused on these multi-vendor trends and solutions. And it could be finance. We've got amazingly creative finance solutions that are helping enable these multi-vendor solutions as part of an as-a-service model. So I would say that the key is really to just ask before you say no. Let Ingram be a part of your conversation and your solution so that you don't lose the narrative with your end users.
No silly questions, none there.
Exactly.
So Cheryl, let's go on now to topic 3, changing the conversation from build outs to business outcomes. So when having these conversations with the customer surrounding hybrid solutions or data center, what are some common mistakes that channel providers often make?
I think we see a few different types of mistakes, nothing that's going to be super detrimental, but the first one is really assuming that they know what the outcome is that's important to the end user. They could already be going into it problem solving before they truly know what the root issue is that's driving the customer spend. So asking the right questions to make sure that they truly understand what the customer's needs are to be able to bring a problem solving solution to the table. And then the second, with a lot of this evolving technology and the smart greenhouses, is really that fear of the unknown makes them uncomfortable asking the questions to get to the full solution. They have spent years building out specialties around a specific solution or a specific trend. So when it deviates a little bit out into some of the newer stuff, it can become more uncomfortable. But I want to make sure that they maintain that partner relationship with their end users, and they still become that primary partner so that they could just look to Ingram to help augment some of those services. If we can't do it in-house, then we probably have another trusted partner with that skill set to be able to solve for those end user needs.
So in relation to asking those questions to make sure they know what their clients want or what they're looking for, what should channel providers be doing to form a deeper understanding of their clients' needs so they can actually offer those solutions?
So ask the questions. We have to be able to assess what they've got today at every level, understand what the goals are, both from the technical side as well as the business side, because we know that they don't always align. and then use the resources that we have to better educate the teams on what key trends are coming up, how to position them with their teams. That's really going to be the key is that education, enablement, and then understanding where we can really solve for those end user needs as they come up.
Last question today, Cheryl. How does Ingram Micro help partners become trusted advisors to their clients?
There are so many resources that we offer, and many of them I've mentioned already. Our data center services for offerings like CloudLogic, our data center tech force team for partner and education and enablement. Our cloud team helps with practice building around IaaS and security. Financing allow that end users to consume the technology the way that they want to, not the way that you want them to. We can truly be the business behind your brand, allowing you to be that front line with your partners and not lose that narrative. Be that advisor.
Cheryl, thank you so much for your time today. This was a lot of fun to talk to you, and I know I certainly learned a lot. But before we go, I'd like to list my top 3 takeaways from today's discussion. 1, don't let your customers waste budget on cloud spending if they don't need to. Scalable hardware infrastructure could be the answer. It's important to first assess your client's needs to strike the right balance of cloud and on-prem solutions. 2, when in doubt, ask. Ingram Micro can help you drive success with customers when building out a data center or hybrid cloud environment, thanks to their team of experts, knowledge base, and financing options. And 3, when talking to clients about storage options, find out what their goals are rather than solely discussing technology. This will give you a deeper understanding of what to offer. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of Pardon the Integration. Once more, I'm Katie Bavoso, and I'll see you next time.